Okay. So welcome, guys. There's only what 5 of us, but some people will join in as we are going. Dr. Habib says I'm joining from British Library. Oh, hang on, let me pull out the message. Hi everyone, I'm joining from British Library, so I can't talk well. Sorry for this. That's okay. You can just listen in. If you have any comments you want to make and you can't say them verbally, you can put in the chat like you've just done there, and then I'll read it out to people. I'll keep checking the messages. So shall we start by just quick introductions? I'll start with Auntie Catherine because you're in you're on the top right hand corner.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Cathline Mahuto. I'm the author and the publisher of the book called The Superpower of the Girl Child. The book was inspired by being a girl child and being the first child in a family of 9. So this book is a lived experience of where and how I got to this place where I started writing the book. So today I'm excited. I want to find out exactly what happens with a girl child. And for those who are free to share, please share. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Auntie Kathleen. Next one is Carrie.
Oh, sure. I don't know. Really. I'm a singer. I've recently qualified as a grandmaster in Reiki. I'm a fitness instructor. Yeah, it's me really.
Thank you. Well, Dr. Habib has already done an intro in the comment section because he's at work. He can't really speak, but he says he's at the British Library, I think. I guess we might get to know about him when he joins in the future. And then next is Tsitsi.
I'm gonna have to go and put my camera on, but to just talk without people seeing you. Anyway, so my name is Titi. I am Phoenix, as you can see on my on my icon. I am a life coach, and I just like really being around people, helping out, and helping with the community. And I like politics. I've just become a member of the Labour Party now, and I'm pursuing it. So look out, watch out. I'll be giving you feedback when I go to meetings. Other than that, yeah, just a happy child. Thank you.
Interesting. Somebody has really dropped. Well, I'll introduce myself. Maybe they'll come back on. I'm not sure what's happened there. My name is Farisai Demwa. I'm the visionary for the Phoenix Empty Nesters Creed, which is this group. It's all about supporting each other. We mainly focused on people who are facing loneliness, isolation, and stuff like that. The idea behind it was from my own personal experience. Okay, very nice. Yeah, the idea was from my own personal experience of isolation and loneliness while I was recovering from injuries from a massive car accident that I had. It's been a long journey, and there was one point when I felt like the walls were closing in on me, and I decided to reach out to people. And I found that it really helps to connect with people, especially people who know what you're going through, who've gone through it already, or people who are going through it, so you can share that journey. So we have these Zooms every Saturday, 4:00 p.m., and we pick different topics each week. It can be a discussion, it can be book reading, it can be an activity. Once a month, we meet in person and we decide on the WhatsApp group where we're going to meet and what we're going to do. We've had a picnic in the park, West Park in Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
So today we are reading a book by Catherine Mahuto, who introduced herself first. The background there is the life in kind of our culture in Zimbabwe and some of the bad things that comes with it, some of the good things that come with it that come out in that book. That's me really. I'm a life coach as well. I'm an NLP practitioner. I'm a mental health professional. I'm a public speaker and I'm a craft therapist. Yeah, so we come with different skills and we are happy to be there for each other in a safe place. We don't disrespect anybody here. We don't look down on any experience that anybody has. We don't tolerate any disrespect of any sort. We are here to help each other, not to bring each other down. So our policy is if you start disrespecting somebody, we will just drop you off because that's not what we are about. So the next person and the last person on here to introduce herself is Irina. I think you dropped earlier. So if you could just introduce yourself to people, whatever you want to say about yourself, it can be a lot, it can be little, it doesn't matter, it's up to you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Irina. I live in Aldershot. I've been invited by Catherine to this platform. So I'm just willing to learn and know and see what is happening on this platform. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Irina. Nice to meet you. Nice of you to join us. We have a WhatsApp group and we share what we're going to do on a weekly basis on that WhatsApp group. So if you would like, Auntie Catherine can add you onto that group or share your number and I'll add you that if you would like to. We've just had another one joining. That's out here. We're introducing ourselves, so you might as well introduce yourself and we'll start reading the book.
Hi. Hello. Have we got new members? Okay, as you can see, Irina. Hi, Irina. Hello. I'm out there. I'm late, but yeah, because I was on the road.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
And Dr. Habib. Hello. Welcome to our group.
Yeah, he says he's at work. He's in the library, British Library in London.
Okay.
You know.
Hi, CCI and
Hello,
Catherine.
everyone.
Oh, it's a man. Hello.
Yeah, my name is Habib Niazi,
Oh,
medical
yeah.
doctor in
Hi,
the
yeah.
I now more 15 years experience in medical field and management as a hospital director, project manager, and minister of weather in Afghanistan. I came here to UK 10 months before,
Okay.
living in King Cross.
Nice to see your face, to put a face to
The name, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have some reading. Abika. Sister Abika, welcome. We've just finished doing introductions, so maybe you can introduce yourself. Just tell us whatever you want people to know, a lot or a little. and then we'll start book reading. Can you hear us, Sister Abika?
Hello, sis. Sorry, I just saw the link and joined. I'm just driving, so I can't really talk much. Yes.
Just
Can you
listen
hear
in.
me?
Thank you for joining. You can just listen in.
Can you hear me, sis?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Sorry,
hear. We can.
I was just saying that I'm driving. I only just saw the link and I thought I'll just join today in the background because I'm having a bit of a long drive. Yes, so
Oh, okay.
yes. But I'm
That's
joining in
good.
from Coventry.
Yeah.
Good. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, sisters. I'll just mute myself.
Okay.
Right. What we're going to do to read the book, I think only the people that are on the WhatsApp group are able to access the chapters. And Auntie Catherine has shared six pages with it. So how many are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we will say each person reads a page. And then we'll go back to start. And we're gonna start with Auntie Catherine reading her own bio, a mini bio that she's shared. You can go ahead, Auntie Catherine. You're muted, Auntie.
Yes, I am. Oh, okay. I'll I'll read my bio. Okay. About the author. Cathline Mahuto is a mentor, a counselor, and an advocate for the girl child, and uses her story to educate and inspire families around the world on how to better position their female children in a way that can prepare them against the gender biases that they will be okay, let me go back again. Okay, let me go back again. Okay. They can prepare them against the gender biases that they can be sure to face in their lives. She's a mother of 4 and a grandmother of 11 and great-grandmother of 3. She uses her wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to help young families through counseling and mentoring, primarily in the United Kingdom. Thank you.
Thank you. Carrie Fisher. I'm just going with the order it appears. The next is Carrie Fisher, followed by Althea. So you read the next page, which says Girl Child Chronicles 1. Oh, you're muted, sorry.
Sorry about that. Give me a second to find it again. My faith did not remove the pain, but my faith got me through the pain. Catherine Mahuto. Trusting God on my journey in life didn't diminish my hope, but enabled me to endure it, and now I can share my story. My name is Catherine Mahuto, and I am 68 years old. I live in the United Kingdom on the outskirts of London. I migrated from Zimbabwe to the United Kingdom in 2003.
Thank you. And then it's Althea.
Okay. I am a Zimbabwean born in the southern Rhodesia during the colonial rule in a small town called Bindura, southern Rhodesia, in Southern Rhodesia is now named Zimbabwe, named after gaining its independence from Britain in 1980. I prefer to be called Katie. The reason is my parents never called me by my full name, so everyone in my family or friends know me as Katie. Although I have a traditional Shona name, my parents call me by as well. The name is not on my birth certificate. Colonial rulers, which were mostly Caucasian and also foreign, recorded most of our birth details. They worked at the registry offices, and they often misspelled native names because of language barriers, and sometimes even missed very crucial details that were supposed to be added to our birth certificates.
Thank you. Yeah. Next is
As a result, so many families found themselves with the same last name with various spellings yet born of the same parents. I am the first child in a family of 9, 6 girls and 3 boys. My father was born to a Malawian father and his mother was Zimbabwean. Meanwhile, on the maternal side, there are also mixed race parents. My grandfather came from the north through neighboring Botswana and settled in Zimbabwe. What a beautiful brand of history. I am blessed with this mix because it has made me beautiful and to interact with a few languages which I can speak. I didn't fully master their dialects, so I am not very fluent because they didn't live long enough to teach me much more, and mostly all I knew I learned from them, like where exactly they came from. Their culture and languages as well, so I see that bit of my history and that heritage is vague.
thank you, Auntie Catherine. Irina doesn't have a copy, Vika doesn't have a copy, so
It's
it's
you
me.
now.
And I'm lost. Which
So
page are we now?
I am a single mother of 4.
All right, yeah. So I am a single mother of 4 grown-up children, 2 boys and 2 girls. Now I'm a grandmother of 12 and great-grandmother to 3 boys. In this book, I will speak about how I went through harrowing experiences in my marriages several times and how they all came to zero, ending in divorces. My parents, as with other cultures, believed in arranged marriages to safeguard the future of their girl child. So my parents did the same thing after my basic primary education. My parents thought it was ideal for me to get married so they could save the limited resources for their boys to go further with their education. In those times, girls were always being portrayed in second class in many cultures right across the globe, it would appear. As a girl, they always reminded you that your place is in the kitchen and childbearing. Be submissive, remain under your husband or your brothers. They come first before you. I had my own dreams though, as I was growing up. Each time I visited the hospital, I had a dream that one day I was going to become a nurse and wear the white uniform with those medals, a green or red belt, and that white headscarf. I spent much of my time daydreaming and imagining that I would get there one day. Unfortunately, I did not fulfill the dream. I looked at it as a failed dream in those days. The reason I failed to attain the dream was at 13 years old, my parents told me I was to be married. The announcement mocked me. Imagine. Ah. So, sorry, somebody's joined. Sister Mary, welcome. Maybe you can quickly introduce yourself before we go into the discussion. We've just finished reading a couple of chapters from Auntie Catherine's book, which I think you've read. You're muted, yeah. Mr. Marigold.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. Hi, Marigold.
Hope you don't mind. I'm in bed. I'm just coming from the airport. But I said I don't want to miss this session.
That's all right.
Oh, God. How are you? How are you, everyone? What have I missed?
We've read a couple of chapters from the book.
Right.
The Girl Child. I was saying, I think you've read it. So I was saying, if you can do a quick introduction of yourself, and then we are going into discussion on what we've just read.
Right. My name is Marigold Simbi. I'm a mom of 3 and a grandma of 2. Back home in Zimbabwe, I was a teacher for 16 years before coming to UK in 2000 and 2002. And meanwhile, whilst I was in UK, I did a bit of supply teaching and support work, with working with children with suffering from trauma in the Surrey service, children's services. Then I also started up my own little company, what I'm doing at the moment. So this is where I am at.
Thank you, so Marigold. I know it's your
Thank
passion.
you.
I know it's your passion. I think you can relate to Auntie Catherine's story then, of how she grew up. Somebody else has joined. Hang on, I'm trying to find the name.
Walia.
Yes, welcome, Walia. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You can introduce yourself, just say a few things about yourself, and then we'll carry on and have the discussion about this read. That's okay, Kevin. Thank you.
Have a good day, Carrie.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Okay. Balia, can you hear us? Oh, it's muted.
I think Bolia had joined from the Migrant Voice group, if I'm not mistaken. Hi, Bolia. Can you just unmute your mic and introduce yourself, please? Thank you.
Yeah, hi. My name is Walia, and I'm from the Migrant Voice group. I just joined to listen in because I'm a victim of trafficking myself. So I just wanted to hear what the other person has to say. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks for joining.
So I'm gonna skip Auntie Catherine because you're the author, even though you're at the top. I'm gonna start with Althea. The first round, generally, we just look for people's reaction to what we read or their thoughts. And then after that, we can go into questions, Q&A, to Auntie Catherine. And then we can end up with her actually giving us her perspective of where she was coming from when she wrote the book. Or since we are not reading the whole book today, her perspective of where she was coming from or what we've read today, the chapters that we've read today. So Althea, you're next. You're first, actually.
I am first. I was just looking, going through. Yeah, thank you. Auntie Kathleen put an excerpt from the book, from her book, on the group, and it shocked me to my core to think that we are similar in nature, because I'm originally from Jamaica, so it's the total opposite when it comes to girl child. In my country, the girl child is not more than the boy child, because what our parents push us all as far as they can for us, each one to have education equally. And from what I know of my culture, there is no hierarchy in the family or anything like that, other than your parents. They are the head of the household. But when it comes to children, the boy don't get a better treatment from the girl. We all go to school together, but we're all sent to school to learn. And Jamaican on a whole, beat it in your head that education will take you to the world. So, and as I was saying, women have positions in the country as equal as the men. So it's a total shock for me when I read that. And I know we're just reading the first bits of the book, but I know when you get deeper in it, there's gonna be more, and there might be tears. I don't know, because I haven't read all the book yet. I'm sure there might be tears from some of us, because I believe me, I can't believe that. I'm a mother of 7 girls and 1 boy. And when my daughter reached 13 years old, how could I, in my heart, said to my daughter, it's time for you to get married. It's time for you to get married. No. Guys, it broke my heart so much to hear what women in other cultures go through. And I've never been through that. And I haven't met anybody who've been through that. We know young girls having children, because I had my first child when I was 14. But it's not my parents' fault. It was my fault. So it's difficult for me to understand that. So that's maybe later I'll have something more to say when I listen to other people. Thank you.
Thank you, Althea. That's really interesting to hear. I think we all need to get to that point where, like in Jamaica, every child is considered a child, and nothing more or less just because of your gender. That's where I would wish for us to go. The next is Titi.
Yeah, so my opinion might be a little bit biased because I read the book straight to the end, and then I gifted it to one of my kids. So yeah, I mean, these are stories that we heard about, or a grandma was talking about. Yeah, it is painful because you could see how disadvantaged they were, how, shortchanged they were, because they were clever. And some of the stuff that they just were putting up with, and looking at it, and you just think it's really unfair. Having said that as well, we did have a stint where they'll be like, these things are just boy stuff. These things are just girl stuff. You don't do boy stuff. You don't do girl stuff. But I must say that I was a little bit privileged because with me at the age of about 10, 8, my dad was like, you going to head the kettle. So I was going there to head the kettle, and I was in between the boys. You need to know, they'll be like, what are you doing here? You should be at home. And they would pull up fights. So I would really pull out fights because it was a question of like, if you miss, the kettle will go, and then you come back to dad, and what's going to be happening at home, you get canned as well. And that was basically, I think maybe because we were too many girls in our family, and there was only 2 brothers, and the brother didn't want to do those kind of chores. So we did them maybe as a privilege, but he was always told that these are your kettle. Why don't you do them? So now when Auntie Catherine put this into the book, I then started to think, so I was just heading the kettle for my brother. They were not even though it was not verbalized, it made sense after reading her book that all the time I was just doing it for him. What's that about? We cook for him, we go get the firewood, everything, and the boy is just messing around, you know. Yeah, it was quite an eye opener, and I think I did give a review as well to say it's quite an eye opener. But as we have grown now, we've decided not again, and we've, I think, brought our kids differently from that, just really realizing and mixing with other cultures as well. We're borrowing good stuff from them as they borrow from us as well. Thank you.
Thanks. Habib, I don't know if you're able to say a few words, or if you want to put it in the comment section. I think I'll allow him to put something in the text section, and we will go to Sister Erina. I'm not sure if you were on when we read the chapters.
She wasn't.
Then Sister Evika, I don't think she was on either. Sister Marigold,
Hi.
do you have any comments?
Well, I was not present when the first chapter was read, but well, I can just put an input of, you know, the way the African culture is per se, the way girl children were treated then, even up to this day, we still find some of those traits prevalent in the way we live, that everything was in favor of the boys. The girl child was supposed to be the mother, you know, the mothering chores in the home, even though it could be very intelligent girl, whereby the parents would prefer to send the boy child to school. I would like to believe those are the elements that were coming from that chapter, that we valued boys more than girls because we saw them as the inheritors of the family. They would carry on the family clan. So importance was actually put on the boys. And the girls were just taken as commodities, whereby the family could actually make money or make a living by sending a girl to getting married to another family. And during those days, they could actually look for a richer guy to say, can you marry our daughter? That was normal in the African context. But of course, with time, things have changed. With the women emancipation, mixing with other cultures and so forth, yeah, there's a lot of change that has taken place. So yeah, that's how I say it. I don't know what was in the first chapter, but well, this is how I perceive the African culture and how the girl child has been oppressed ever since.
You nailed it.
Yeah, ladies, I think maybe if I read quick through the other, because I want this to be fair. It's not a lot of chapters that we read. It's not a lot of pages. So maybe I could just whiz through it so that everybody else knows what we're talking about. Is that okay? Okay. So the book, The Girl Child, and it was written by Catherine Mahuto. I'll read this about the author. Catherine Mahuto is a mentor, a counselor, and advocate for the girl child, and uses her story to educate and inspire families around the world on how to better position their families, their female children, in a way that can prepare them against the gender biases that they will be sure to face in their lives. She is a mother of 4 and grandmother of 11 and great-grandmother of 3. She uses her wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to help young families through counseling, mentoring, primarily in the United Kingdom. And then chapter 1, the Girl Child Chronicles. My faith did not remove the pain, but my faith got me through the pain. Catherine Mahuto, that's her quote. Trusting God on my journey in life didn't diminish my hope, but enabled me to endure it. And now I can share my story. My name is Catherine Mahuto. I'm a 68-year-old. I'm 68 years old. I live in the United Kingdom on the outskirts of London. I migrated from Zimbabwe to the United Kingdom in 2003. I'm a Zimbabwean born in southern Rhodesia during the colonial rule in a small town called Bindura. Southern Rhodesia is now Zimbabwe, named after gaining its independence from Britain in 1980. I prefer to be called Kitty. The reason is my parents never called me by my full name, so everyone in my family or friends know me as Katie. Although I have a traditional Shona name, my parents called me by as well. A Shona name my parents called me by as well. That name is not on my birth certificate. Colonial rulers, which were mostly Persian and also foreign, recorded most of our birth details. They worked at the registry offices and they often misspelled native because of language barriers, and sometimes even missed the very crucial details that were supposed to be added to our birth certificate. As a result, so many families found themselves with the same last name with various spellings, yet born of the same parents. I am the first child in a family of 9, 6 girls and 3 boys. My father was born to a Malawian father and his mother was Zimbabwean. Meanwhile, on the maternal side, they are also mixed race grandparents. My grandfather came from the north through neighbor Botswana and settled in Zimbabwe. What a beautiful brand of history. I am blessed with this mix because it has made me beautiful and to interact with a few languages which I can speak. I didn't fully master the dialects, so I am not very fluent because they didn't live long enough to teach me much more. And mostly all I know I had learned from them, like where exactly they came from. From their culture and language, where they came from, their culture, languages as well. So I am that bit of my history and that heritage is vague. I'm a single mother of 4 grown-up children. 2 boys and 2 girls. Now I'm a grandmother of 12 and great-grandmother to 3 boys. In this book, I will speak about how I went through harrowing experiences in my marriages several times and how they all came to zero, ending in divorces. My parents, as with other cultures, believe in arranged marriages to safeguard the future of the girl child. So my parents did the same thing after my basic primary education. My parents thought it was ideal for me to get married so they could save the limited resources for their boys to go further with their education. In those times, girls were always portrayed as second class in many cultures right across the globe, it would appear. As a girl, they always reminded you that your place is in the kitchen and childbearing. Be submissive, remain under your husband or your brothers. They came first before you. I had my own dreams though, as I was growing up. Each time I visited the hospital, I had a dream that one day I was going to become a nurse and wear white uniform with those medals, a green or red belt, and that white scarf. I spent much of my time daydreaming and imagining that I would get there one day. Unfortunately, I did not fulfill that dream, and I looked at it as a failure, as a failed dream in those days. The reason I failed to attain that dream was at 13 years old, my parents told me I was to be married. That announcement shocked me. Imagine. Right. So that's as far as we read. It's kind of an introduction to Auntie Catherine Mahuto's life as a girl child in our traditional culture in Zimbabwe. So we're gonna continue another week with that. But so far we are discussing that content that we read. So Irina, if you have comments on that, you're more than welcome to do so. Sister Abika said she's driving, so I won't disrupt her concentration. Sister Irina, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, ladies. On what we have read and also combining with the culture of our native continent where we came from, is truly that the girl child was considered as a second-class citizen in the family, because they didn't know the importance of being a mother, that you are going to bring up all those, the successful men should have a good mother for that man to be successful. So they tend to turn a blind eye on that one, our older generation. But we just want to thank God these days that things have just changed. It's truly that like if my aunties from my father's house, they were also born at that generation where they were just being said they need to have just basic education to read and write. Then your biggest certificate you should own in life is just being marriage and childbearing. But these days is quite different, that things have just changed. So yes, we have witnessed so many scenarios happening in people's lives. Like my auntie from my father's house, she always says, oh, if I were born in your generation, I could have done this, I could do this, I could do this. So sometimes it breaks my heart to hear that what she wishes to do. You can see from what she was doing in her own time, that time, she was very, very, you can see that she was someone who is very intelligent, because the white people, when they came, they started educating our mothers or our grandmothers how to cook, how to mend dresses, how to sew, how to do other things. And you could see that the way she was doing her things, if she was given an opportunity to go further, she was going to be someone in life. So I just want to thank Sister Catherine for putting down these notes about the girl child, that we keep on supporting the girl child even to the present day, that we should also shielding the girl child, because there's so much abuse which is going on concerning the girl child. So I just want to thank my parents were not like that, like the other person we have said. They were a bit civilized, because we all treated the same. Whoever accelerated or ever do whatever they've done in life, it was up to them. And now, if I can just add on that, there's a twist which is going on in life. If we can see, women are just taking positions. Women are doing so many things, even in the government, even in the studies. Or there are so many doctors, there are so many engineers, because the door has been opened and the opportunity has been given to everybody. Even if we visit every family, we can see that the girl child or the women, they are doing things which are more tangible than boys or men. So in another ways, I was just looking at it and said, we have got a job again to turn this thing around again. We were busy all these years fighting for the girl child. Now we going to go again, fight for the boy child again, because things have just taken a twist. I don't know, is it only my perspective or my thinking or my own way of seeing things? But you can see that men are being overtaken by women, even in the houses. So that's my contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for broad perspective that you've just put on there. I think that leaves me to comment. Right. Because I've read Auntie Catherine's book, I kind of go ahead of myself sometimes, and that book makes me angry a lot. It took a whole lot out of me to be able to finish it, because some of the stuff just rattled me. But from what we've read, I'm reflecting, and I think to a certain extent I was also lucky. I was raised by a single mom, and that's a whole different ball game as well in terms of culture. But that actually made it possible for me and my siblings to kind of get less of that brunt side of demarcation between boys and girls, because we were being raised by a woman, and we only have one boy in my family, my mother's children. We tended to be given the same opportunities. But one thing I've just reflected on today with what people are saying is that I've noticed that my mom gave us opportunities within the circles or within the walls of our household, but she was afraid to show it out there because it wouldn't be accepted. The lucky thing is we lived in the city, so most of the extended family were in the village, so they actually didn't, a lot of them didn't get to see these opportunities. And as Sister, was it Irina said, there's a twist going on now where, because of exposure to international viewpoints, international mindsets, and even literally just from the progression of the mind, because we are evolving as we go. And I am very certain that even our ancestors knew that we evolved, which is why these cultures were coming up. Unfortunately, when they left, those that were left did not see it necessary to reflect on some of these traditions. The way these traditions were explained to me was that as we were growing up in Zimbabwe back in the days, sustainability was mainly agriculture, and that's physical. And you know, men are more physical than women. So you find this was kind of workable in that era. But when things changed and development started coming in, we were not prepared to make adjustments. When the colonial came in, it came with new things, modernized things that we were not prepared for. So women then got left behind. Education came in. I think originally we didn't really have schools. So education with the colonizers, and we got left behind. The reason that was a strategic thing as well, I think, because the colonizers wanted the manpower, the men strength, physical strength, to be applied in certain things. And you know, the British, they have training and education for everything. So the men were trained because they would have been useful to them. And we were thought to be useful for is this mending of clothes, cooking, babies, and whatever. And that actually fitted well with our past tradition. Nobody actually got to say, how do we make whatever we consider weakness in women work for, whatever we consider strength in men. Instead, we fell in the trap of doing what worked for women. And then that actually brought in unity as a family. That's how I see it. And I'm always asking people, if your ancestors were to come alive today, and you're still talking about these back traditions where you're saying, oh, a woman's place is in the kitchen, would they be proud of you? Because things have developed. Would they have stayed that way? No, they would have moved with time. Unfortunately, we do not allow ourselves to reflect. And Auntie Catherine's story, yeah, it's a thought provoker. And I know most of us here in Europe, most of us here on the group are in Europe. And I just hope that you look around you and you do your own reflections so you can do your own adjustments to your own life. A lot of us Zimbabweans, I don't know about other African countries, but my observation is a lot of us Zimbabweans here in Europe, we're still holding on to these things and they don't even work yet. We are still saying, oh, women are supposed to. You all going to work, working 12-hour shifts. I come back home as a woman, I'm still expected to drop everything and start doing this role of my place is in the kitchen. But we've just pulled a 12-hour shift together, earning probably about the same money. Oh, and then I should take the children, I should do homework, I should take care of this, I should take care of that. And it doesn't work. I'm just appealing to you guys. Change starts with one person. You guys here heard the pain that you already can see the pain that she went through by her dreams being thrown to the wayside so that we protect our boy child who is assumed to then have the capacity to look after the family, because originally that's what the men would do, look after the family holistically. But if you look at these days, all they want is the title of I'm the man, I'm in charge, I'm the lead. But if you then say to them, provide, they don't want to. Work, they don't want to. shield me from outside risks or dangers. They don't want to. So it's just a title now. If they were that title as it was held back in the days, I think there might be a workable solution. But now the men, because of this change that has happened, nobody has prepared them to say your mind can be shifted, your mind can be changed, and you can start behaving in a way that suits the era that you're in a way that suits the place that you're living in. They are stuck in 2020, in 1920, in 2024. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for them because now they are miserable because women have decided, you know what, we're going to reflect on this. We've been given that because we are left to carry responsibilities. You learn to hold yourself, you learn to hold your own. So it's easier for us women to adapt and adjust to things. But with them, because they were taught women will come and bow down to you. Sometimes I remember making certain amount of money when I was a girl, working in somebody's garden back in the village, and I got the money. Instead of this money being said, it came from Fari, they said, give it to your brother. And it was handed over to the family as if it was coming from her. Just because I'm a woman, I couldn't have made that kind of money. So we will use your brother's name. I mean, it doesn't work. Here we are now in the modern world where people can actually see what you're doing. So you can't lie. You can't go to somebody and say, oh, my brother worked this month when they have seen me doing a 12-hour shift. You really can't do that. And our men are struggling to make the changes necessary. So I'm hoping as we carry on with the book, you will start with areas maybe that you need to reflect on as individuals and make adjustments that will help you and your family rather than break you apart.
I was just going to add a little bit. Although Auntie Katie wrote this book focusing on her experience, from like we are saying, mixing with other cultures, if you watch the African movies, you can see it happens in Nigeria. It's the same almost thing. And if you look in Asia, some of them, they do the same. And my colleague was actually talking to me and saying that if you got married and the dowry was paid and everything, and you can't give a boy child, that was a problem. You have to give a boy child. And I was like, oh, okay, right. I understand now what this is about. So I think this really affects the minority groups in a way at some point. And it usually, I mean, those from the west, is it the east, that side, Africa going back that way rather than the West, because they're a bit better as we heard from out here. But yeah, it does affect a lot of us. It's just an experience where it's a Zimbabwean writing it, but you can transfer this into different cultures and it will meet and fit properly. Thank you.
Yeah, what was I when it comes to the woman? If you haven't given a boy child, you might end up getting divorced or ostracized, thrown out of the wherever you are. It doesn't depend on just the woman to produce this boy child.
The culture dictates.
It depends on both people. Both
culturally.
That's what I can't seem to wrap my head around. It takes a child. When it goes right, the husband is the one that takes the glory. When it goes wrong, the wife is the one that takes the. I'll tell you a personal experience. When I was dating my son's dad, and I got pregnant, people held their mouth on his side because they also have this very serious belief that a boy child is more valuable than a girl child. So before they ran their mouth about me getting pregnant before I got married, They were quiet. And then I had my son, firstborn, a boy. I was like gold. I wasn't even married in the family. And even up to now, my son is turning 27 next month. I get more respect from his dad's family side than my own family because I gave them a firstborn boy child. Even though I'm not married, his grandmother sees me more of a daughter-in-law than all the other daughters-in-law because all of them, their firstborns are girls. I'm the first of I'm the of the I'm not even a daughter-in-law because I'm not married. But I'm born, and she will do anything for me, even up to now. And
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what's wrong with our society, honestly? That's so wrong. That is so wrong.
And so it was.
It's us girls who do a lot for the family. If we look at, let me take my experience. Coming, when I was back home, I started working. All my money, I used it to look after my sisters, even my brothers as well, even if they were older than me. But my father valued that very much because he was educated enough to understand that, because that's the way he brought me up to say, you need to be a strong woman. Get an education, make a life for yourself before you start looking for a man. And when you're looking for a man, find somebody who could look after you, not just pick anyhow. That's how he was, which I really appreciated from this day and point in time. But having said that, you do all sorts. But the other brothers, his brothers, they never really put the importance to say, well, Marigold did this and that for the family. To them, it doesn't really count. But when my brothers do something smaller than what I've done, it's so appreciated. It's amazing the way, if you see the way they say, well, Charles has done this and that, and the family is happy, and we are developing this direction. I said, but what if I've done so much for these girls and boys? To see where they are, it was because of the efforts that I've put, and I've lost out trying to look after the family. It was never really, glamorized like they did with the boys. So yeah, it is within our society, embedded in our society, to just, think of the boy as the one that's most important. So I think it's to do with us now to change the mindset, to teach our children to say, you are all the same. It has to start with us in the family, we mothers. The mothers of today, we understand better. So we need to educate our children to say, you are all the same. Not to say the boy is important than the girl. When they are in the house, they should do similar chores. They are going to school. If a girl chooses whatever she wants, you need to support them. This is one thing that has been lacking in our society. But I think with the times that have changed, things are also changing. Like the other former speakers highlighted to say, well, you can see girls are now taking very high posts in society. It is because people are changing. The mindset is changing. So gradually, I would like to believe we'll get there. But us as mothers, we need to put more emphasis and teach our children that they are all equally important. Thank you very much, Sis Catherine, for coming up with this book. It just points on very important issues that people need to know in the society.
Thank you.
The horse's mouth.
I was gonna say, I think we also, as mothers, while we are at that, we also need to be aware that we now have a job on changing as well this twist carefully so that we don't create a flip coin of the same problem. We also need to, while we are valuing the girl, we should also value the child. And we need to, while we are teaching our girl children to value themselves, we should also be teaching our boy children to value themselves and to value each other. We don't want to end up looking like we are saying tit for tat. In the past, you did this, so we're gonna do it. We're gonna give it back to you. It does not build us. It does not progress us. It just literally opens a platform for all these foreign people who are learned enough to be structured in the way they approach life to actually manipulate us. And because the easiest way to manipulate any group of people is to split them up. So if we start to now emancipate, so you and the men are not equipped to match up to it, the men are going to be crushed. And that is a weak point for other people to come in and zero in and take advantage. So we need to be focusing and to be working towards a balance. Like we are saying, a child is as important as a boy child. Let's not leave the boy child behind.
Are we here at Cathline now? Because she's itching. How was she feeling?
Oh gosh. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much. You know what? You're just giving me a lot of energy because I tell you what, writing this book, I was trying to crack the shell that I was in. Even at that age, at 68, it wasn't easy. And it took me a lot of time to get to a point where I would really bring something out of that book. Is my first sentence that says, my faith didn't help me in any way, but it was that faith again that made me get to this point where I can now share my story, so that we do not keep doing the same thing to this generation of children we have now. Because when I look at it, I go to a lot of programs from Zimbabwe and from all over from Africa. I've seen this a lady called Lynn Ngugi. She does a program in Kenya, and there's another one in Nigeria. I see all these countries. They all be still in this day and age, 2024. They still believe a woman is supposed to be a second-class person. And the women also, they have that idea that they cannot do much, they cannot change the norm, they can always stay in that situation where they have to be second class, they have to be abused, they have to understand that they come second, they have to understand that if a man says no, that's the end of the story. And they understand that if they are told to sit, they will sit. I've seen Nigeria, you see women kneeling down and begging to the man to say, please, and she's begging. So when I wrote the book, firstly, it was like I was writing it to myself. I was writing my story. And only when I finished and published the book, that's when I realized the book was not for me. It was meant for the younger me. How did I travel this journey of a girl child? As you can see, I was young and I had a dream. I used to think I was going to be a nurse, and I really was looking forward to it. But it didn't work out. My parents had their other dreams of having me as a bride and getting married, and then they have a son-in-law and whatever. But it all failed because it was never going to work. I was still young and naive and didn't know anything about being married. So things failed and failed and failed several times. So definitely, as parents of today, that's why I still think I still need to speak about it, so that they must understand that there's no difference when it comes to gender. Whether it's a girl child or it's a boy child, they need to be treated the same. They need to be taught how to live and in harmony between them. They need to understand that when they are together, they are the same. Despite that he's a man and this one is a woman, there are things that they should do together, and they definitely we would have a world of peace other than what is happening today. And even before that, you would come out probably killed. I was lucky, twice I was lucky. And when I said, no, I don't think this is for me, then I had to leave. So you say now, how many women are getting killed in relationships? It is because the man still thinks the woman is lesser than him. The woman should be answering to him. He is the god, and she's a goddess who has got to kneel down and do things for him. So until the parents of today understand this and change that direction to make sure that the boy child is taught that he's not different, there's no difference with him with the girl child. If it is going to school, the parents should understand that children go to school no matter what their gender is. And if there are opportunities, those opportunities should be shared equally to the children who they have. And also that they should understand that having a boy child is no lesser than having a girl child. It's still the same. The child is still the same, 9 months carried and born the same way. And also everything is done the same way, despite his gender as a boy child. So until we learn to do this, going forward, you can see what is happening with the men at this time. They are being tossed left, center, and right. It is because of where they are coming from and the culture that they made, that was made for them to say they are princes and kings and whatever. They don't touch plates, they don't cook, they don't do anything. Our time, we used to go for it was agriculture time, like some of us. We would go and plow and do things. But now, looking at this generation, why it still has got this idea to think there's someone called a man when there's nothing like that going to do agriculture or going to do anything. What is it that they are actually bringing their child to believe now as a boy child? So there's a lot that goes on, and I really see it now when we speak, when we talk, when we share. I do see that the book is opened a lot of a can of worms, actually, I could say, because now we see where we are going, where we have been, the disadvantages of the woman, and why it should stop and not to continue in that way. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that you really looking at this book with a clear mind to really see that we need to speak up as women. We need to speak up as parents. Because if we do not do this, we are going to get a world with men who are not going to be anything but traded upon and not do anything in the world of tomorrow. So the boy child has got to be treated with care, and very much so. We are sort of behind this program because the boys we see now, they are being traded upon. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Auntie Catherine. I think now we can open the floor for if people have any questions for Auntie Catherine. So we can get clearer understanding of where she's coming from. If you have any questions, I'm not going to go around like I was doing. I think just raise your hand if you have any questions. You can use the hand or you can use the emoji to raise your hand.
Okay.
I could start.
I've lost you.
Auntie Catherine, my question is, since you then came to the United Kingdom, did you pursue your nursing career or did you change your approach? Because now you were in a place where you were actually free to choose.
I didn't pursue the nursing career. There was a lot of complication for me to go for nursing. And by the time I wanted to go for nursing, when I went to the college, they were like, oh, if you start now, it's too late. You are 50, and then you will be this, and then what will happen? You are going to work in the wards for how long? And then you get to 60, because I was almost towards the 60. So I couldn't pursue the nursing thing. And instead, I had to pursue what I had learned before. When I was young, I was sent to do a domestic science. So I pursued that one, and also ended up doing counseling and all the things that went with it, and I did support work. So somehow I could see nursing was for me. Was even in the support work. I had my clients would always say, ask questions and say, is Katie coming for work today? They were anxiously waiting for me to get to where I would assist them. So I think nursing was something, and then I thank God for my children, because I do have a nurse who actually I think she accomplished my journey of being a nurse. And when she graduated, I sort of said, thank God, this is what I was really praying for. This was my dream, and now I do have a nurse. So definitely, I really wanted to be a nurse, but it failed. And so I think it was accomplished now that I've got a nurse in the family.
Auntie Catherine, I don't think your dream failed. I
No.
followed you do advocating, counseling, and coaching. Nursing is about that. Talking from a mental health perspective, a lot of what you're doing, you might not have a piece of paper that says you're a nurse, but I've seen you nursing people out of trauma, nursing people out of confusion, and that kind of thing. But I wouldn't say your dream failed. That's my view. Sister, see, your hand is up.
Yeah, I was going to ask Auntie Katie, out of these 3 men, did you ever actually love one of them when you were put in the situation? Did you ever get to that point where you felt like you then learned to love that person? I mean, I just can't imagine how it was, and I just want to know.
Do you know what? Someone even asked, my son actually asked me, was my son is the one who assisted me to write. And he asked me that question, and I said, yeah, there was one that I fell in love with. It was the last one, his father. He's the only one that I thought, yes, this one is I love this one, because it was my choice. So he's the only one that I fell in love with. And then things went berserk. But when the two of them, I tell you what, it is definitely a hard thing, if I can explain this. To be taken to a man that you have not said I love you, that you do not even know his name, probably, just to get there and you are told this one is so and so, and this is your wife. Imagine having to go in bed and have sex with someone that you do not love, who you do not know, you'd never had any affection with this person, and then you end up in bed and then you are pregnant. It causes a lot of mayhem, and I can tell you why they failed. The two of them failed because there was no love. There was nothing that we connected us together. So it was like I was not happy with anything. Whatever he would do, I wasn't interested. So it brought this issue between us so much that the only thing that he could do was use his fists so that I can change the direction of where I wanted to go. Because I was still crazy. I still wanted, I could see my other girls were still doing their Form 4. Yeah, I'm a mother. I could see some of them graduating, and I couldn't do that. And I was avoided even to interact with those ones that I used to go to school with. So definitely, I can't say there was any connection between me with the two men. There was nothing.
Wow. Wow.
What an experience.
Yeah.
I almost thought Farid touching her eye, and I could see that was a little tear there. It's painful. It's painful every day. Oh no! Come on! Oh, oh.
Oh, dear.
No, it was.
I told you I told you there would be tears. It is.
It was
not nice.
hard. It was hard, and
I think all that is just abuse, and rape, and it is disgusting.
It
is. Catherine remained standing. Trust me, through everything, she remained standing. A lot of people become bitter.
Yeah.
And a lot of people start throwing what they got to other people. A lot of times it's innocent people that end up receiving the brunt end of that trauma. But instead, Auntie Catherine used this protective over people. Auntie Catherine talked me through a lot of stress. I don't, when I'm facing challenges, if I call her and I talk to her, she calms me right down. And, you know, I always think, where do you get this energy for other people when all people have done is trample on you, you know, like, and demean the worth. And you always see value in people, and you actually always working to lift value. You're always looking at making it better rather than stunting it or reducing it. I always for that, honestly. I forced myself to read the rest of it because I wanted to kind of reason out how you remained so strong and so you're so bubbly, you know, like it's very really talking in a down mood. You're always so bubbly and you love your family life. I don't know. I think you can learn a whole lot from Auntie Catherine. Trust me, guys. You need to follow her on media, TikTok, Facebook. I'm gonna share her links on the WhatsApp. Follow her and see the kind of work people. She said she's 70. I can't remember, 70 something. A lot of people will be saying, you know what, I'm gonna put my feet up and retire. But she places, she counsels, she mentors, she advocates, she protects tirelessly. And she's very down to earth. Sorry, Auntie Catherine, I'm speaking for you. Very down to earth. She doesn't have what we would call airs, you know, people who act like I'm up there. You know, she's just down. She meets you where you are. And I love it, honestly.
Can I say something, Farid?
Thank you.
Can I add something a little about Catherine? We are so blessed to have you, Catherine, in our corner. You've got that nurturing heart. We feel so privileged to have you. Like it sums up everything what Farid has said about you. Because when you have a problem or any issues with coming to you, the moment you leave your house, you've got a calm heart. We are calmed. So we are so privileged to have you. It's wonderful to know you are in our corner. And yeah, like what Maria just said, we really need to, people need to work with you with the work that you are doing so that we can come up with something to help our younger generation, because you're a community champion, let's face it. You do a lot. We really, really appreciate you. Wouldn't think, when we think of the background, where you came from and your story, it really pains me when I think this 15-year-old young girl and the things that you face. But look at you now. You're still the shining beacon up there. I really appreciate you as a sister, to be honest. Love you very much.
Thank you.
Keep shining. And we'll
Thank
copy
you.
as well.
Thank
That's
you
all I
so much.
wanted to say. I appreciate this woman. She's dynamite.
Yeah,
Thank you.
any questions or comments? I think we have about 10 minutes before we close down. In fact, the last 3 or so minutes, I just like to make it around and check on people's welfare, so that if we need to follow up with anybody, we follow up with them. So does anybody have any more questions or a comment?
Well, I wanted to say something positive. When were your happiest moments throughout this journey? When did you say at this moment, I've left all these, these issues? Where would you say at this moment I was happy throughout that journey?
I think I was happy when I see the children grown up and doing their things. I'm blessed that I don't look back and think I didn't do well, because they are all accomplished their education, and they are wherever they are in the world, where they are doing their things with their families. I am happy. Yeah, I'm happy that at this point I feel I've done well for myself. To where I am today, I've managed to bring the family where it should be. So it's time for me to say thank God, and I think I can rest and say thank you.
We are happy for you.
Because I really went through a lot, so much that there are times when I would go on my knees and say sorry to someone who is supposed to say sorry to me. And then I'll just go and say, yeah, I'm so sorry. You know what? I didn't mean to. Well, this happens. I'm so sorry. Because of where I came from and what happened in my life. There were times when I was writing my book, it would take me so many days, and I would cry to a point where I would think I was not going to write again. But then afterwards, I think it was a healing time. And I thank God for my friend who invited me to go for counseling. I don't know if you guys know Bukola. We met and we were just doing the same things like sewing and designing and whatever. So when we met, we finished with Priska. And then she said, do you know what? There's a college where we can go for counseling. And I was like, counseling? Why would I go for counseling? Because I just thought I can't do this. But then she said, yeah, there's a college in Farnborough. Let's go for counseling. And when I went there, that's when this idea of writing came, because I realized that I had to heal. There was a lot that I could be someone who's very bitter and not doing things that I could have been doing, probably even committing suicide at some point. But when I went to this course, it taught me to start by myself, forgive myself first, understand where I came from, and understand where I am now, and then try to maneuver to where I should be. I think I could say that. So I think that is what I've got up to now, in so much that even when I'm supposed to be crying, I smile. Instead of me saying something, I'll say, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, it has been like that.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because the first part was so depressing. I just wanted to hear where you were happy. So I'm glad to hear what you've just highlighted now. Thank you so much. We like to see you smiling. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, I see Auntie Catherine is when she's with her grandchildren. Oh my God. It's like a young, she's that able to go down to the level and reason with them at their level, and she makes it fun. I follow you on Facebook, and you know,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
When
It's
she's
amazing
kicking football with her, grandchildren.
how she gets better to the children.
Yeah.
All I can say is if you can say to them, if they could see you now,
Yeah.
to who you are, from where you're coming from, and to who you are today, you are a blessing to many. I do watch you on TikTok. Sometimes I'm jealous. I say, I can't do that. I wish I could do what she's doing. Seriously, yeah. But
It does inspire.
if they could see you now,
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that at the end of the day, after going through all that, my mother came up and she did appreciate me, and she said, you know what, I didn't know that a girl child can be that powerful, and we didn't know our time that a girl child can be something else other than getting married, which to me made a great difference in a way that I looked at her, where she came from, what happened in her life, and I realized that no, it was like a trend, a culture, which our parents didn't know and didn't understand. Because even at the time that I didn't go to school, I became a hustler in my own life. I went through a lot of places where my parents didn't know, and I had to come back again and send those boys to school because they were young than me. So I had to go to send them to school while I was a mother of four. So definitely, she did come to realize that things are not what they look like and what the culture says about the girl child. So to me, I think it was a great pleasure for her to come back and say, you know what, I didn't know about this one. I didn't know girls can do such things. For me to be where I am today is because of you. She appreciated that. So yeah, it
that's
did
good.
help. It did help.
That's wonderful.
It did help.
Sometimes I think it's just what they know because sometimes they're not educated, and that's how they were brought up. So they think that's how their girl
Yeah.
it should be, but I can't fathom why would you want a girl of 13 to get married
So,
and have
Auntie
children?
Catherine,
Yeah.
are you saying Gogo actually appreciated to say you've been an asset in the family? She
Yeah.
does say that now.
Yeah.
Being the first girl, I know how the responsibilities that you go through, looking after your siblings. It's a lot.
Yeah.
If you find your parents saying, thank you, daughter, I'm sure that's great. That means
Yeah.
we are evolving. Now people
Yeah.
understand the importance of, to take us as children, boys and girls together. That's good to realize that.
Yeah, she realized that, and she was very much at a point whereby she actually had to face me and say, you know what, these things didn't work out, and I do appreciate that you have been a beacon, and she stands by me. Besides whatever happens, she stands for me, and she's always fighting. She's old now, and
So,
yeah.
what did your dad think? Or did he?
My dad was the quiet one.
Okay.
My dad was the quiet one, and he was the one who would always have to go through whatever is going on, because you'll be told what is going on, and then what should be done. There are some marriages where it's the wife who takes care of whatever situation with the children. So it was like that.
Okay.
Powerful.
Yeah, I was just gonna give a final, my final comment or opinion, whatever, and just say, honestly, the fact that you wrote the book, you turned a bad experience into something good. We now are sharing your story, and your story is impacting and making a difference. Most of the people, we experience something, we don't want to talk about it. We hide it because we feel like, oh, what are people going to think about me? What are people going to? But look at the light that you're shedding. I mean, to the young people growing up, to other cultures that don't know what was happening that time. So I think a big thank you for braving. And I think it also covers that bit of healing. Like Fari always says, you have to heal and then see the positive and then come out and do it. But most of us are hurt and everything, and we don't deal with that. We don't heal. So we hide our secrets and everything. We don't know which could ever help. I am going to love you and leave you because this is the second half for England and Ireland. You know me.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's quite true that we look at, especially coming to writing the book and even publishing it, it still has got a lot of animosity to other people who are saying, why did you write the book? You exposed the family, or you exposed us, or whatever.
It's like your book, sorry.
Yeah. So in something that other people, they didn't even want to read or to say anything about it, but they play their games behind it. But it's something that happened to me. Being the first child in a family, I think they should get to a point where they understand that we are different. And I being the first child, what happened to me, they don't know. Probably they don't even know. They don't even know this man who married me when I was 16.
People need to hear.
Experience that I went through, they were not there, and they cannot even tell what I went through. So I didn't mind when I wrote the book. I told myself, it's only afterwards that I wrote the book. I realized that no, it's not only about the Zimbabwean culture. It's also about so many cultures. We find you go to places and you look at women and think, huh? Why is that man doing that? Because it's a culture that has been going on for centuries. And women have always been tolerated to be the second class. They should be those people who have to follow. You can realize even here in UK, there was Margaret Thatcher. She didn't even have time to go and say, I'm resigning from Parliament number 10.
Yeah.
She was fired at home and never to come back and retire. So you see, it's because the men have always believed that they are the leaders. And so it comes down to our children. If you are a parent and you have got boys and girls, you need to understand the consequences, that what happens after that boy becomes a man, how he is going to interact with his wife. How does he interact with his sister at home? How does he do things at home? So much that when he transcends and goes further to become a father, does he know how to behave in front of his wife? Does he know how to treat his children as well? Because this is where we see now that children who are born and with parents who are together, a father and a mother, there's a lot of fighting between them, especially when it comes to parenting a boy and a girl. The father says, no, he doesn't do this. And the mother says, no, she doesn't do this. And then those children go away. They are now grown up. They are not accountable for them. They have to be accountable for their lives. So until parents of today understand the concept of parenthood and teach their children how they are supposed to behave in front of a boy child and a girl child, we will never have no peace towards our children of today.
True, true, true. That is. Oh,
So,
God.
okay, before we finish off, how are you feeling, Auntie Catherine?
Yeah, I'm okay. It opens a lot of things, but I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we have coaches, like if anything that we discuss affects you, reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you?
I am well. I am learning a lot from Auntie Kathleen, and I do look up to her, and I stand by you, and I'm gonna give you a hug, Auntie
Yeah.
Kathleen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, yes, I am. I am learning from it's, yeah, as I said, it's totally different for me. So I do feel really, really sad because sometimes I see people and I say they're sad, and I see that they're sad, and you don't know why they're sad. It could be a million different things. And yeah, especially a lot of African women, when I see them, they always have this sad face. And I'm saying, why are they always look so sad?
Really?
Yeah, yeah. To me, I'm saying to myself, why they always look so sad? But deep down, they are carrying a lot in their heart and a lot of burden from husband and family and things like that. I do feel for them. I've never been through anything like that, so I can't say I understand because I don't know. I just can feel for people in my heart and wish there's something I could do for them. But you can't just walk up to people and say, "Are you okay?" I wish I could do that, but yeah, yeah. Bless your heart, Auntie Kathleen. You're a strong woman.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Marigold, how are you?
I'm feeling good, and privileged to say I'm learning a lot from Sis Catherine. I really appreciate you. Now we are actually making me feel like, come out and share my story as well. There are some hidden things that I didn't want to say, family stuff, but with you,
Yeah, listen.
that
Your story belongs to you. You share it when you are ready. Only when you are ready. Don't let anybody tell you to share your story if you don't want to. Only when you're ready.
No, I'm saying after reading Auntie Catherine's book, I think I'm going to, and now I put the, the motivation to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how I'm learning from.
Okay.
Pardon?
And there's help you can get. Yeah, there's help you can get with sharing your story.
True, that is.
Lots of help. Yeah.
There are a lot of issues that one, like when a man, for instance, he gets a second woman and you are in the middle. How do you deal with that? All those things. So these are the things you might want to lay out there for people to read. If I don't, should I share it or not? But I feel, now I've got the guts to say, I can just say it's a story. That's what has happened. So why not sharing it?
Yes,
I might do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sis Catherine, for that.
I know in my culture in Jamaica, the men have a lot of baby mamas, but one man has 3, 4, 5 baby mamas, but not wives. They can't, and they can't bring the next one home, else they would be murdered every day.
Or the second one can't come home.
No. You can't even let the first one know. It's good. And if the first one find out, it's trouble.
Oh my goodness.
That makes it worse when it's hidden out. They would rather know.
Yeah.
Rather money getting out and, behind them. Well,
Yeah,
there's a lot
some
to learn.
women are okay with it, but they can't marry 2 wives. You can't have 2 wives. Yeah.
That's something new.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Here we are. Sister
Yeah.
Catherine, you see what you have brought up here in this book
Yeah.
now. A lot of hidden
Yeah,
skeletons in the cupboard.
There's a lot that we cover, and
Yeah.
especially with the girl child in Zimbabwe, I feel sorry because we go through a lot. And even if you look today, what they are going through, it's still hard to believe that we are still going through such episodes of women being mistreated in that way, going
Oh,
to these
yes.
trips, and they are told you are this, you are that. A woman is being tormented by men left, center, and right. And other
True.
women are also saying, yeah, because a woman is supposed to behave.
Yeah.
No, sometimes, and I blame it in Christianity when they say you are a woman, just be submissive.
Yeah.
It has made
I'm not being submissive to no man.
Anyway, okay, that's a topic for another day, I think.
No way. No. Go your way, I'll go mine.
Just a bit, because
Harry knows me now.
Some of the topics add onto our calendar. We always pick topics from discussions. Topics are coming up. Every Saturday we meet up and we cover different topics. In terms of book reading, we don't do book reading every week. We have slotted as we go, and at the moment we are going between two books. One of the books is called Hear Our Stories. These are stories of migrants in the United Kingdom, written by the migrants, stories from the horses. So you can also get perspectives. Abuse is not just in Africa, and abuse is not only just between husband and wife.
No.
Abuse has a lot of avenues. It's like, if you know Birmingham, it's like Spaghetti Junction.
Yeah.
True.
It's a lot. So that other tells stories, and we can't actually lie and say it's all bad. There are good stories out there in Africa, in Europe, and that book has a good mix of stories, the good, everything else.
The good and bad, yeah.
Yeah.
So alternating between the two, when we finish, we will then maybe read mine. Mine is kind of, well, it's kind of similar because the abuse is there, but from a completely different perspective. Talking about relationships now, like Shiramu, if you're from Zimbabwe, you would know this travel business that leads into abuse, sexual abuse in the end. Done these two books, we will pick another topic and we will alternate, and in between we pick topics that to discuss that are not actually book related.
Okay.
So, Sister Marigold, if you have something that you'd like to discuss, you can just put it in the group so we can add it to the calendar and put it in a slot on Saturday. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be story like this, but even something nice, or if you think of something.
Of course, there's a lot to discuss.
Yes.
Yeah,
and we would
I'll add you to our group.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot of fun.
Okay.
And
we want the group to spread all over the world.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank
you so much. My sister is coming. We were on the road.
Much love, ladies. Thank you very much.
Lovely to meet you, Sister Marigold, and thank you so much.
This was interesting. Thanks, Sis Katie. Love you.
Bye-bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.